Hello everybody, welcome into the NSRA Sunday Select Series here for Race 2 at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. I'm your host, Austin Green, here live on Ghost Racing Network. Let's get right down trackside and get into your pre-race ceremonies. Looking at your starting grid, the man on the pole tonight is going to be Vicente Guerrero, one of the Limitless teammates. Cody Nagels, his teammate's going to be starting on his outside in second. Going to be John Guerra in third, with Robert Jordan rounding out your top four. Richard Sanchez and Sean Stevens make up row three. It's going to be Les Levy and David Overstreet making up row four. Dustin Logston starts ninth, and it's going to be the rookie Michael Triscaro rounding out your top 10. Jimmy Reynolds starts 11th. Andy Brigante starts in 12th. Dawson Wise starts 13th, with Dana Osborne to his outside in 14th. Going to be Joshua Gathright starting 15th, Alex Giffen in 16th. Harold Rothery starts in 17th, with Dusty Burkhart to his outside in 18th. Stephen McComas and DJ Thomas, last week's winner and rookie, what a way to start the season, make up your top 20. Sean Wilder starts 21st, with Rick Sebreens in 22nd. 23rd is going to be Mark Mann, Brian Kimbler 24th. Moving on back to row 13, it's going to be Larry Dickerson and Bubba Winningham. 27th is going to be Len McNeese. Adam Kilday starts 28th, and rounding out the field tonight is going to be Tom Dixon starting in that 29th position. Looking at your weather outside, 74 degrees here tonight at Daytona. As you can see, it is under the lights. 20% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and winds at 2 miles an hour. It's the Pit Stall 200. Sponsored by Sean Wilder. NASCAR Xfinity Series is the series for tonight. 80 laps here at Daytona. Going to be 50% fuel. Everybody's got unlimited tires, 2 fast repairs, fixed setups, and then 2 green-white checkers if we were to need them. Track temp going to be 77. And track length here at Daytona, 2.5 miles. A lot more narrow as well if you think about what we were seeing last week at Talladega. So I think that's certainly going to play a factor. Some of these guys we'll have to see. But before we get started with the race, we do have a couple people with onboard cameras for us here tonight. Cody Nagel is going to be the first one, starting to the outside of his teammate. They've got, I believe those are the IROC paint schemes going on. Those are sweet looking. We'll see if they can get one of those paint schemes in victory lane here tonight. And then going on back to the rookie, Michael Triscaro. He is the other driver carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. He looks revved up and ready to go. Looking for his first win on the season. Only second race in, but showed a lot of promise last week. Things just didn't quite work out. But I think this week very well could be his week. All right, pace car is going to make the hard left turn down the pit road. 80 laps at the World Center of Racing to kick off race 2 for the NSRA Sunday Select Series. Limitless, the teammates, Vicente Guerrero and Cody Nagels, gonna lead us to green. Into the Geico restart zone we go. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Daytona. Lap 1 complete. It is going to go to Cody Nagels on the outside line with a push from Robert Jordan. Talked about some things regarding your weather, and you see it is a nighttime race here, 8:30 sim time, and it is moving pretty fast. So this race will be into full night soon. That is going to continue to allow that track temp to cool down that much more. But the biggest change overall, what we're going to see here from Talladega last week to Daytona is a couple things. Track's a little smoother, however, it's a lot more narrow. We're going to see 3 wide, but that's about it. 4 wide doesn't really work here at Daytona. Maybe if a couple guys are trying to save a wreck, you can squeeze it for just a little while, but 4 wide's definitely not going to be something we see guys trying out of something, I guess I should say, what they're trying to do. It's definitely not something that they are going to be trying to do, but nonetheless, Daytona also the start-finish line in the tri-oval instead of about 100 yards or so after the tri-oval like it was at Talladega. So that means that inside line is going to have a lot better of a chance at winning this race here at Daytona than it did at Talladega. But so far, everybody's staying 2 wide, staying nice and calm. We saw a little bit of 3 wide on the first lap, but everybody settled it back down pretty quick. I think we're going to see some more here pretty soon. Sure enough, looks like we got one looking to the outside here, about 5 rows back, and that is going to be the 13 machine. Not looking like anybody is looking to go with Andy Brigante right now, so he's going to tuck right back down in line just in front of Dana Osborne, who peaked in the lead a couple times last week before falling a lap down. Robert Jordan now leads the way as Cody Nagels drops down to let his teammate up top get some clean air. 4 laps completed. Again, these guys can go tonight about 20 laps on fuel. And to make it that far, I think if you're Cody Nagels and crew, we saw this last week, we heard it, they like the pit stops. They like getting the field separated, and it showed how strong they were last week. I think we only had probably between 5 and 10 cars left in the pack when we had the long green flag run that we had before we had that late caution. It bunched everybody back up where we saw this man right here. DJ Thomas sits in the middle of 3 wide, actually just behind 3 wide right now in the 20 machine. Rookie got his first win in the first race of the season, of course, last week off the front bumper of Cody Nagels. He was excited about it. Man, that gives you just so much momentum for the entire season whenever you get that first win out of the way. And to get it in your first race, it's got to give you more momentum to know that he's got the talent. He's meant to be here, and we'll see if he can maybe make it back-to-back tonight. How crazy would that be to kick off his campaign for Rookie of the Year? Just behind these guys, we've got a couple of guys getting single file further towards the back. Looks like the 04 of Mark Mann back in the field tonight. Didn't see him last week. He was one of your championship 4 during last season. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get it done. Got passed by Cody Nagels on the last lap. He sits just in front of Len McNeese, Adam Kilday, Brian Kimbler, and Tom Dixon. Must have had issues. He is currently not on the... Oh, we got a wreck. Caution's out. We got one spun around out of turn 4. It's going to be Rick Sebreens. No, Rick's going to sneak by. Excuse me. It's going to be Jimmy Reynolds in the 17 machine. Driver out of Callahan, Florida. And he has got some damage. First caution does draw here on lap 6. What happens here to the 17? We got a little mess out of turn 4. This was the trend last week. We saw a couple of early cautions before that long green flag run. And honestly, it could just be guys kind of getting a feel for each other. Watching the spotter view, something's telling me this is going to start with that 3 wide, but let's take a look. And sure enough, it does. The 13. One of the guys making the first start here tonight. Excuse me, not first start. Andy Brigante in the 13 machine. Does he just wash up a little bit, or was it a little bit of net code? Couldn't tell from that first angle. Let's see if we can see from the chopper. You see they're pretty tight. Again, this is what we talk about, how tight Daytona is. You see there's not really much room for a 4th lane. Starts to wash up, and that's hard to say. It doesn't look like his car got turned, but it does look like it kind of shoots up the track after being pretty straight. So you got to think maybe it's some net code. If we watch a little faster, that's kind of what it looks like to me. Maybe some slight net code, but once the 13 gets up the track and into Dana Osborne, you see certain guys behind just know where to go. Does last week's winner DJ Thomas, does he sneak by this? He does, down low, but the 11 gets collected. And there's the 17 of Jimmy Reynolds with the big hit into the outside wall. We'll take a couple more views of it. Show you from the screenshot view here, you can see all these cars piling in. That's a little late. Back it up a little more. And down the track trying to dodge it. The 11 gets in the 17. Yeah, that's a big hit. I gotta be honest, I think that is probably going to be a fast spare for Jimmy Reynolds. You see the left side looking like a tin can or some aluminum that got all bent up out of shape. Just a little bit of aggression here early, but again, the net code, I got to say, we've probably seen at least one wreck with it each week. And well, this is the 3rd race I've done so far here, and we see another one this week, so that's going to add to that total. Nothing anybody could really do in that one. We'll take 2 more angles of it to make sure that was the case. From the spotter cam, you see the chaos. Everybody tries to miss. Ooh, somebody else got a little damage right there. That's the 20, looks like the 25 of Larry Dickerson. Nowhere he could go. And then let's ride on board here with the 13 car and see if we can see exactly if it looks like netcode here from the cockpit view. Now watch his hands. Do they drift up, or does the car just shoot by itself? Yeah, that's hard to say, but it looks like netcode the way the car just pulls up all of a sudden. All right, and then Michael Triscaro, after the caution, did he have some issues here? I think it's just a checkup. Oh, he did have some issues. Looks like he's okay, though, but he may have been sleeping just a little bit. Field came to an abrupt stop. He had to take a little detour through the grass, but he's okay. No problems there. And as we go back up front, should be looking to get the one-to-go signal. This time, your current leader is Robert Jordan with his teammate Vicente Guerrero. Third, Sean Stevens. Vicente Guerrero second. Sean Stevens sits in third. Cody Nagels fourth. Michael Triscaro. Rounding out your top five, it's going to be Richard Sanchez in sixth. John Guerra in seventh. Dawson Wise in eighth. Les Levy in ninth. And DJ Thomas rounding out your top 10 after doing a nice job avoiding that last wreck. See if we can get some interviews later. Looks like Dean Wilkinson in the chat says, good luck, drivers, and great job on the broadcast. Thank you, Dean. We certainly appreciate it. Glad to see you out here watching tonight. Sure enough, there is the one-to-go signal. We will be back racing here on lap 9 of 80 complete. Everybody did come down to pit, top off on fuel. You know, unlimited tires, I think if you're in the back, you take 4. Maybe if you're in the mid-pack and you have enough, or you're going to take enough fuel, you can take 2. But you don't want to be waiting on tires, especially with as few laps as we have done. You don't really need them. So nonetheless, Limitless Racing still has 3 of their teammates up here in the top 5 right now. Make it actually 4, of course. Well, Michael Triscaro just inside the top 5, excuse me. So, yep, sure enough, 4 of the teammates inside the top 5. John Garrett, the only driver in the field that is from Canada from the looks of it. All these other guys living in the U.S. It looks like John Garrett is one of the Canadian drivers that we have in the field tonight. And looking at the split for cars, it's, you know, the same guys every week. And with that, most of these guys do run Chevys. You can see there the heavy dominance on the left side of your tower. And then I would say the second most probably run manufacturer is going to be Ford. Got about four or five of them. And then 2 Toyotas in the field with John Guerra and DJ Thomas. And I believe Limitless did pick up DJ. I know he was working with them last week. They pushed him to a win. So sure enough, he's going to remember that. And Cody Nagels has already set himself up early for the championship with the good run that he did have last week. Looking to continue on with that this week, but we still got a long way to go. And the next green flag pit stop is going to be expected probably somewhere around just under lap 30. I'm going to say probably around lap 28. And again, at this point, maybe you tried a little bit of strategy now in the sense of maybe you pit around I'd say maybe lap 20, but I don't know if that's the strategy right now. I think all these guys are just going to run it out. And if we get a caution before then that will change the strategy up yet again. Pace car pulls off. Robert Jordan sees the green flag back in the air. Good start for him on the outside. Vicente Guerrero getting back through the gears with Cody Nagels just behind. As they race down to turn 1, you saw Jimmy Reynolds towards the back. Did he take that fast repair was the big question. Looks like he did. Again, with 2 fast repairs, if you got a decent amount of damage, there's no real reason to not take it. Here's Sean Wilder back in the field tonight. Saw him in the championship race as easily one of the best pushers. We'll see who he can get behind tonight. Ooh, the 25 machine is off. Duck it to the apron, going to find a spot to merge back on safely. And the 25 is able to get back in line. That was Larry Dickerson. A little close for a minute. No issues for him. Meanwhile, up front, Robert Jordan on the inside still. Getting that good push from Sean Stevens, who goes way off. That was a checkup gone wrong. He's going to have to merge. This is where things get a little dicey. Through the grass he goes, but he's going to get it woed up. And he does get back up, but oh man, that's going to cost Sean all of the time that he had been making. He's going to go all the way to the back of the pack. Man, that was a close call, though. Heck of a save. Let's back this up. Take a look. I think it's just going to be a little bit of a stack up. We're going to see this a couple times here tonight, and this is going to be the first victim of it right here in Sean Stevens. Take a look from the spotter cam. And watch, just gets a little tight. Oh, was that a little net code? Maybe that was a really odd look, to say the least. Let's back it up. Check from the chopper view. Yeah, no, Michael Triscaro was nowhere near him. He's got to get net coded from somebody right here. Yeah, man, that's what it looks like from the 14 of Vicente Guerrero, unless he just decided to make an evasive maneuver, feel like he was going to hit him. But I don't think that was the case. Let's take a look from the cockpit cam. Oh, yeah, no, that was a bump. That was indeed some netcode between those two. Sends Sean Stevens for a ride, and then he gets it woed up. Does a nice job there. I'm telling you, that apron is a tricky place, especially when you're in the trial of the turns to get slowed up all of a sudden without merging back on track. But he did a nice job. Dawson Wise now pushing Richard Sanchez on the top line as Cody Nagels and Vicente Guerrero were both able to drop down to the bottom. That moves DJ Thomas up to second on the outside now, as Sanchez is also going to drop down low. Now, you hear us talking a lot about Limitless. There is other teams. From what we know, this is kind of what we have. Larry Dickerson's by himself. But David Overstreet, Andy Brigante, Bubba Winningham, Dusty Burkhart, Joshua Gathright, Len McNeese, Les Levy, Sean Stevens, and Stephen McComas. Those guys are all kind of on a team. Again, it's relaxed teams. This isn't one of those things where these guys have to absolutely commit to their teammates and nobody else. But the teams kind of go by who's in the Discord rooms together. Jimmy Reynolds, Mark Mann, Richard Sanchez, and Rick Sebreens. They are all worked together tonight. Alex Giffen, Sean Wilder. Harold Rothery's by himself. And then Dawson Wise, DJ Thomas, Cody Nagels, Michael Triscaro, Robert Jordan, and Vicente Guerrero. They are your Limitless team racing drivers. The ones that probably heard us talk about the most so far because they like to stay in the lead about the whole race. There's Sean Stevens working his way through turns 3 and 4 right now. He does not have any drafting help, and he's going to need some here shortly, but he's not going to be able to find any. So he's hoping that we can either get a... Actually, yeah, he's hoping we can get a caution. No set stages or competition caution, so he's just going to continue to fade until eventually he does lose a lap if we don't get the caution. The good news is that he is the only car not in the pack as of right now. Tom Dixon did not start the race, so he just... has to hope that if he does go lap down, nobody else does, and he should be able to stick with that lead pack if they do eventually get to him. Nighttime race at Daytona in the Xfinity Series. We're going to see some high-speed action. Here we go. Sean Wilder up top with Dana Osborne. Ooh, a lot of bobbing and weaving there in the middle line. DJ Thomas continues to try to push Dawson Wise to the lead as Vicente Guerrero. Man, he's really loose on the tribal. Richard Sanchez gave him a bump in one of the most unstable areas of the track. It worked that time, but man, it looked a little sketchy there. Vicente Guerrero goes up for a little side draft on his teammate down into turn 1. And Wilder and Osborne, they're going to need probably a little bit more help. They seem to be making it work for now. We'll see if the 11 car decides to jump behind these two. Harold Rothery, we talked about, he's not on a team here tonight, so he would be the guy that you think would do it. And now Michael Triscaro's dropping to the bottom, so the 11 is going to try to fill in that gap on the middle line. Robert Jordan, he lines up as well, but looking at those speeds down the front stretch here, see what these guys are going to get up to. About 188, 89 miles an hour entering the travel. Up front there, Richard Sanchez is going to get a big push here down the short chute to turn 1 by Cody Nagels, and he does get up to 92 miles an hour down into turn 1. These guys are absolutely flying. Always love the nighttime races at Daytona International Speedway. They just have that feel to them. You know that the biggest race of the year in real life is the 500, and I feel like the goal in the NSRA series for these guys has to be something along the lines of winning one race from each series at every track, right? I mean, 6 races in total, maybe sweep the All-Star race, but I think we could see somebody maybe pull that off here, but we'll have to find out. DJ Thomas making his first step in that journey, winning last week at Talladega in the Xfinity Series. Next week, of course, going to be Legacy Daytona in the Xfinity Series before we're going to head over to the Truck Series for the 3 races after that, and it will be the same 3 tracks, I believe in the same 3 order as well. There's a ride on board with Harold Rothery. Moving to the inside now. Here's Robert Jordan out of Winsboro, Texas. Sits on the inside behind one of his teammates, Michael Triscaro. You see, just working a smooth wheel. These cars have looked really, really darty tonight, but everybody continues to do a nice job of holding on to them. I think that might be the reason that we haven't seen as much 3 wide as we saw last week. Definitely hear from drivers that the Talladega setup feels more comfortable in relation to these 2 tracks. So everybody's still just getting a feel for it. DJ Thomas looking a little out of place, being the only Toyota among his Chevy teammates, but still getting the job done nonetheless. Limitless Racing has, I believe, 5 out of like the top 7 right now is where all their teammates sit. But Richard Sanchez holding them all off right now. He continues to lead the bottom, which has looked like the better lane so far. I wasn't sure if it would be, but certainly has had more momentum. That could change throughout the race. Definitely carries some momentum down the backstretch as we see Vicente Guerrero do that now with a push from Dawson Wise. But everybody looking like this week, they like the idea of getting a pit stop. Sean Wilder, though, he wants to go to the front, gets a big side draft off of DJ Thomas. Man, that got really close. There was almost some contact, but Sean knows he's got to get down there and side draft really aggressive if he wants to make some progress with only the 2 cars that they have right now. And he's going to start to slowly creep his way up to the front now on that 3rd line. He's got help from 1 car. The 11 was thinking about it, but Harold Rothery thinks better of it as he dips back down the line. The 68 up here now. That is David Overstreet. He's been showing quite a bit of potential. Things haven't quite worked out for him just yet. It looks like he's ready to flex some muscle right here as he's moving his way straight up to the front. Yeah, I figured he'd be the guy to jump in that 3rd lane. However, he is down 3 from where he started, so might be playing conservative right here. Your biggest movers, though, in the top 10. Dawson Wise up 10th, and then DJ Thomas and Sean Wilder both up 15. Oh, my goodness, it's getting really, really close. There's the contact. It was coming sooner or later. The 74 goes for a slide down the pits. Yellow flag is out. It was Robert Jordan. And he went for a pretty good slide through the grass. He does have right front damage, and the 11 as well of Harold Rothery. The other car involved almost looked like somebody got loose. And it does bring out the 2nd caution on lap 19 here. So everybody is going to come back down to the pits. Heavy damage for Rothery on the left side and the right side. He's going to have to use one of his 2 fast repairs. And then Robert Jordan, looks like mainly isolated to the right front. Not sure if he'll have to use one or what here, but what happens to the 11? Does he get loose? Let's start with the cockpit cam to see if this gives us any insight. Oh, there was some contact there of sort between him and Dana Osborne. Did not see that initially. Does the 8 make actual contact here? See, there's the 11 in the middle. The 8's coming down, and yeah, there is contact there. Dana Osborne, when he gets down into Harold Rothery, that sends the 11 down into the 74 of Robert Jordan. And boom, there's the big hit for the 11 to the inside. Safer barrier right at that pit road entrance. Did not pick a very good place to hit it. That's why he's got such heavy damage. But I think Robert Jordan maybe gets away here with not using a fast repair if he doesn't want to. That's a tough break, though, for the driver of the 74. Let's take a couple more looks. Actually, let's start with the spotter cam on this. So you're going to see the 8 of Dana Osborne. Does he just get a little high off the turn? He does. You see he gets kind of high there. He's got to come off the wall. But then just maybe trying to gather up, comes down too far and just hits the 11. Not really much more to it. Robert Jordan just the innocent victim. Nowhere that he could go. Going to take one more ride on board here with the 74 of Robert Jordan. See what he sees here. Good thing for Robert, I guess, in this case was that he didn't hit any of the walls. So like I said, he may not have to use that fast repair, but you certainly don't like to have damage and lose that track position, especially when it's nothing he calls and locks it down, goes for a slide, gets that thing straightened up. Oh, he does get tagged there again, actually, by the 11. Looked like that was in the left rear. That's what it sounded like. So that is going to add a little bit more damage, but again, I think he'll be okay here. So 2nd caution of the night on lap 20. Actually flew on lap 19. We are now on lap 20, though, and your leaders, Vicente Guerrero, Richard Sanchez. Richard Sanchez might be scored your leader. Vicente Guerrero in 2nd. Cody Nagels 3rd. Dawson Wise in 4th. DJ Thomas rounding out your top 5, but it's Michael Triscaro in 6th. Sean Wilder in 7th. David Overstreet in 8th. Dustin Logston in 9th. And Les Levy rounding out your top 10. Dustin Logston snuck his way right back in here. We'll see what he can do the rest of the way. Let's see if we can't get a word here from your current leader, Richard Sanchez, on how he's feeling about strategy the rest of the way in his current track position. Hey, Richard, this is Austin up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's going on, bud?
Not much. While we're watching you put on a little bit of clinic here early, man. You don't have any of your teammates right there at the front. In fact, looks like you're kind of in a pool of limitless guys, but nonetheless, you're holding them off. You got the lead. How you feeling at this point?
I'm kind of surprised I got out here in the lead. I didn't take any tires, though, so that might have helped. I'm just running with these guys. I'm familiar with them, and I run pretty good with them, so just hanging out right now.
Well, we haven't got to see it yet here tonight, but last week we saw a long green flag run. Still potential for that tonight. Would you like to kind of see it go long, get the field split up a little bit, or do you like these cautions where everybody keeps getting bunched up?
I'd rather it go green, see what happens with some green flag stops. That's pretty fun, too. So.
All right, well, we'll let you get back to it. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, sir. You have a good one.
Richard Sanchez. He's got a little... Oh, I thought he was showing it on here. His little Discord emblem. I don't know what he's got there. It's like a cat, but with... Maybe it's a bobcat. I can't tell, but nonetheless, Richard Sanchez sounding like probably one of the most cool, calm, and collected guys out in the field right now. Not even breaking a sweat, but most of these guys aren't. I mean, hey, look here. Cody Nagels, he's got a smile on his face. He's laughing, having a good time. You go over to his teammate, Michael Trasquero. He just had a big smile on his face a minute ago. Everybody's having a good time. The NSRA Sunday Select Series, you know, it's a serious league, and it does get serious in the playoffs. But these guys are out here having fun every Sunday, and if you're interested in joining, doors always going to be open. Check the description of the video. We have the link to the Discord. Get yourself started today. And as we are 25% through this race, Vicente Guerrero lined up with his teammate on the outside. We'll see if they can push clear here of Richard Sanchez. I think their best bet at it is probably going to be on the first lap down the back straightaway, but if they can't, then it's just going to kind of be settling out in line and make sure you manage those temps here. Next pit stop would be expected around lap 40. If we can make it that far, we will have to find out. Pace car pulls off. Second restart of the night. Green flag is back in the air. Good jump for Richard Sanchez on the bottom. He gets us rolling down the short chute into turn one. And he does have a chance to jump up top, but not for long. Quickly closes off, and he is now going to have to stay on the bottom. Cody Nagels nowhere to go again. You know, I wonder if these guys are going to think twice about 3 wide now. Both wrecks that we have seen tonight have kind of originated from 3 wide. First one being netcode, and that one there being actual contact. But, you know, I mean, as a driver, sometimes you get maybe a little bored, I guess, if you think about it, driving 2 wide. Some of these guys want to advance their track position long before we get to pit stops because you like to settle in. You don't want to have to be trying to go to the front at the end of pit stops. You like to be sitting at the front, thinking about how you're going to get your entry right and what you're taking for that pit stop. Oh, we got one spinning in the back. Can he save it? Couldn't tell who it was. Is it Brian Kimbler? No. It's going to be Bubba Winningham, and he somehow, someway does save it. The 66 looked like he got just really, really loose. Wow. Does he get close to this wall? This is going to be fun to watch. Oh, he looks loose. He looks loose way back here. He might hit the apron. That can get you in trouble, and yeah, he does. You see he gets caught on the apron, starts to come up, realizes he might be overcorrecting, so he gets back down and smartly just backs off the throttle, takes his loss, but now he's not going to have to worry about using a fast spare because of that. Gets it back rolling back up to speed, but man, that was a close call. Watch it from TV cam here. This is what we saw initially as we saw him dart off. So he did not have any help, just loses it. Oh my goodness, how does the 69 miss him as well? Wow, that was a really, really close call. Back that up a little bit and see that one more time. Was it 60? It might have been the 63, actually. I said 69. But man, oh man, some of these guys, we see some of these wrecks. Yeah, sure enough, this was Dusty Burkhart. Take a look from his cockpit camera right here. This is insane. Oh my goodness. Just checks up long enough to miss him. And I think if he wouldn't have spun down as soon as he did, we may have seen our third caution of the night. But we do stay green. Gonna hurt. No, actually, it's not gonna hurt the 69. He was okay, but Bubba Winningham did lose the draft from that. He's kind of in the same position now as Sean Stevens was in the last green flag run. Stevens now back in the pack, but it looks like he's choosing to stay a little conservative right now. Just kind of relax at the back of it. Maybe feels like he's not going to have any help to get up there 3 wide right now. So he's just going to go ahead and stay in line and see if everybody minds their P's and Q's. The 99 of Alex Giffen on the inside, just in front of Harold Rothery. Here's Stephen McComas in the 70 machine on the outside, the Jack Daniels Ford Mustang. He sits behind the 62 right now of Les Levy. Les, the sponsor of last week's race, the Ricky Bobby Foundation for people who want to go fast but can't. Back up front, Vicente Guerrero has found his way in front of your ex-leader, Richard Sanchez. No more, because Vicente has now claimed that position on the outside. Dawson Wise and Michael Triscaro are rolling in the two IROC paint schemes. The 68 of David Overstreet. He has made his way to the front and now pushed on the outside line for position. Caution's out. We got a big one in the back here. Mark Mann's involved. The 91 of Sean Lauder. More contact. Big damage for Robert Jordan, as the whole front bumper and hood are off of the 74 car. And as we see every week, losing that track position, you get caught up in something not if you're doing. He was way back for it too. That's an even tougher break. Bubba Winningham, good break for him though. Let's go back to where this is going to start. Let's take a look from the spotter cam. This was down into turn one. Oh, and that is going to be, looks like Dusty Burkhart in the 69. Yeah, sure enough. Dana Osborne involved in this one again. And the 11 of Harold Rothery. Is he going to make some contact? Watch the 11 of Harold Rothery getting up to the 69. And, oh, yeah, hits him way offset. And you could see Harold realized immediately. You saw the fire out of the pipes. I don't think it'll show it again, but Harold tried to check up real quick, but just too late. Hits him offset. That turns the 69 up into the 8 of Dana Osborne. They both lose control. Go around, back up into the pack. And then, man, the two guys that were way behind this, Sean Stevens and Robert Jordan, they still pile in with nowhere to go. And now we'll look at it. Let's look at it from the screenshot view. Nothing Dusty can do here. Watch how offset he gets when he makes this push. And it just hooks him. Nothing Dana Osborne could do. And then back up the track into the 25. 49 with nowhere to go. Or excuse me, 84 rather. Len McNeese. And then the 17 of Jimmy Reynolds. I think he gets involved in this one again. And that's a tough break for Jimmy, because he is going to have to take his second and last fast repair right here. So he's going to have to really be careful about how he goes about the rest of this race. And watch the two guys that are going to pile in right here at the end. I think they were just trying to continue rolling, but unfortunately sometimes that's a mistake. Man, that's a big hit for Sean Stevens. I wonder if he got hit by Robert Jordan. It looks odd to me. Let's see if we get a better view of that for these two. Watch the 74 of Robert Jordan. And there they are on the back of your screen. I did not quite get to him here. There's Sean Stevens. No. Two completely different incidents. I mean, I guess they didn't let out of it until too late, and then they both get involved in a wreck that they both should be able to check up. Mark Mann did a great job of checking up. But Robert Jordan may not have known that they were wrecking, because he couldn't see as he was still tucked behind Sean Stevens. So he pile drives the 04, and then the 27 chooses the bottom, and he chose wrong. Sean Waters sitting there. That's a big hit for the 27 as well. Take one more look at it here. Mayhem in turn one collects about 5 cars. Back up front, though, Richard Sanchez is being scored as your leader. Cody Nagels in second. Dawson Wise third. Michael Triscaro fourth. John Guerra in fifth. Les Levy in sixth. Dustin Logston in seventh. David Overstreet eighth. DJ Thomas in ninth. And Alex Giffen rounding out your top 10. And this is going to put us back to a point of probably no more green flag pit stops now until expected about lap 50. So that could change up some strategy later in the race. Going to get the one to go signal, I believe, this next time. So we are going to take a side-by-side break. We will be back at Daytona for the Pit Stall 200.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by-request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway for the Pit Stall 200. Presented by Sean Wilder. Getting ready to go back green after cleaning up the mess from our third caution here of the night. 29 laps completed. Richard Sanchez, I believe, has led the most laps. But him and Vicente Guerrero, in fact, him and just about all the Limitless guys have all been trying to split that category for about the entire race. And they are going to be lining up row one here. Richard Sanchez on the inside, Cody Nagels on the outside, Dawson Wise and Michael Triscaro making up row two. And then the 88 car of John Garrett making his way up here. Talk about one of the two Toyotas in the field. Can he find some help maybe from DJ Thomas, who sits just 2 rows behind him? And on the outside of John Garrett is the 62 of Les Levy. They are all getting ready to see what's going to happen here on the third restart of the day. Pace car is going to pull off. Green flag is back in the air for Richard Sanchez and Cody Nagels. It's another good jump by the inside. This time, though, the outside looks really disorganized. They're going to have to get together pretty quick. Richard Sanchez with a big push out at Dawson Wise. He's clear in either lane. We'll see which one he sticks with. So far, stays on the bottom. If Dawson could get clear, you got to wonder if he thinks about jumping up top. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to find out this time, as he does not get clear. But look at the big momentum now. He did get clear just as I thought he would, and he did. Big push from his teammate on the outside. Just like that, Limitless is going to take away the first and second spot here as Nagels and Wise both drop to the inside. That puts the rookie Michael Triscaro in the clean air, leading the outside line. Now Richard Sanchez washes up just a little bit. There's Robert Jordan in the 74 trying to recover after the incident that he has been involved in now. 2 incidents that he's been involved in. And a little blink from Cody Nagels here. Michael Triscaro a little nervous. Oh my goodness. That almost caused a huge wreck. You saw a ton of smoke there. Not sure what exactly that was from. Must have been something with the little internet spike that Cody had. So now we are seeing more guys that are sitting back, and let me tell you something, they probably don't want to sit back right now, but they don't have a choice. Sean Wilder, he's had to use a fast repair. Adam Kilday, Larry Dickerson, Harold Rothery, Mark Mann, all these guys involved in a wreck. Now, Mark's damage was most on the back, so it looked like he chose to not use his fast repair yet, and he seems to be okay. Usually the Xfinity cars, although they don't take damage overall well, if it's in the back of the car, you can usually get away with a lot more than you can in the front. And Mark seems to be doing just fine with that right now. 33 laps down. Cody Nagels on the outside. Dawson Wise still leading the inside. Richard Sanchez got shuffled back to that second position after, well, Limitless teamed up on him. He said, though, he was just chilling up front right now. I don't think he feels the pressure much at all. He's going to be one of those guys that likes to see it go green. He told us that in his interview. Again, that green flag stop here would be expected to be probably around lap 50. And it only takes one. I'm telling you, when we separate this field one time, there is a very high likelihood. I mean, it goes up exponentially. The chance that we don't get a caution after each green flag pit stop, it really increases. That first one, we're going to drop off probably a quarter to half the pack. Ooh, looked like Burkhart in the back. Did he save it? He did. This is one of the cars running by himself, but he does have some damage. What is the damage from? Does that have to relate to this? I know he was involved in the wreck, but did he just get loose? Does he get a little help here from the 27? Oh, he might got a little help right there. Nice save, though. Now, this little 4-car pack, they got to be careful right here. The pack up front, they are running fast, and they are in danger of losing them if they mess around too much right here. And, in fact, Dusty might have just a little bit too much damage to keep the draft. He seems to be fading off the back bumper now of Sean Wilder. I think Sean's maybe trying to help him out a little bit, but it's just not... It's not really working right now. Adam Kilday and Larry Dickerson, they are trying to make sure they stay on the back of this pack. And there's the 8 of Dana Osborne with damage to the back as well. Sean Stevens, he is trying to move his way forward. And Harold Rothery is going to join Dusty Burkhart in the 2 cars that are no longer on the lead pack. Or with the lead pack, rather. Nagels still leads the inside. On the outside, still Michael Triscaro. They're going to take him 3 wide. Sure enough, they are. The 62, look to the outside, Les Levy. Will anybody go with them? David Overstreet, sure enough, is. I believe those two are teammates. And this is the first time we've seen a 68 decide to go 3 wide. In fact, same deal for the 62. And a couple guys must like what they're seeing because the 70 now of Stephen McComas, he is also going to join the momentum on that third lane. Contact. Can they save this one? They can't. A lot of them are going to go slide through the grass here. Can they? Everybody else hold on to it. Michael Triscaro gets tagged back up the track, goes to 4. He gets T-boned again. 4th caution of the night. Looks like the 88 was also involved. John Guerra. Harold Rothery. Is he making his way through? He was not involved, but I think Robert Jordan. Was this somebody else who was involved? We had one more car in it. I thought it was maybe Robert Jordan, but it may not have been. We are about to find out. Let's go take a look. Looked like some contact to start. Couldn't tell what exactly the contact was. But then they just couldn't survive it any longer. Here's a view from the far chase. And Michael Triscaro in the middle. And they're both starting to come down. There's some more netcode between Les Levy and Michael Triscaro. Pretty good amount on that one. And then Robert Jordan trying to check up. Him and Vicente Guerrero both get damaged. DJ Thomas into the 38 of Dustin Logston. And then there goes Michael Triscaro for the slide through the grass. He's going to come back up here, and the 4 is going to take a pretty hard hit. Man, nowhere to go. Gets T-boned by the 85 of Larry Dickerson. Oh, excuse me, of Adam Kilday. And then the 4 car that piled in, that was Rick Seabrins. Let's look at it from a couple different angles here. Now from the front. When you're running in a pack that tight, there's just nothing you can do when one of them get out of shape. And then the 4 car was in the grass, so just couldn't get it steered back right. Sean Wilder did a nice job checking up for it, able to avoid any damage. And these guys keep trying it. I mean, again, it's not anything that anybody does wrong, but as a driver, I would have thought these guys may have been a little nervous by now with all the netcode that we've seen here tonight at Daytona to keep trying it. But sure enough, they keep trying it, and again, there it backfired. As although they weren't really too. They both did kind of make a move, one coming up, one coming down. But again, they weren't going to hit each other. That's just a tough break. Michael Triscaro giving you a nice view of the True Value sponsorship on the back bumper of his number 34 Chevy Camaro. That's right on board here with Sean Wilder as he gets, I think he just checks up in time and misses it all together. Tell you what, staying behind a wreck is always the safest route to go in the sense of, like, when the wreck happens, just checking up. If you can at time, shirt off, that's what he does. Hard on the brakes. 34 slides up. Almost some contact, but man, just sneaks by. And again, he did already use one fast car earlier, so that's pretty important for him to not have to worry about using a second one potentially in that one. Dawson Wise is now leading the way. First time that he's going to be leading us back to green. Cody Nagels, his teammate, in second. Richard Sanchez back in third. Les Levy in fourth. David Overstreet will start from the 5th position with Stephen McComas in 6th. Alex Giffen in 7th. Mark Mann 8th. Sean Stephen in 9th, and Joshua Gathright rounding out your top 10. Jimmy Reynolds, did he keep the damage? He might have kept the damage here from that last wreck. Again, from the first wreck he was in. Yeah, he did. Unless he was involved in this last one. I didn't think he was. I think he was ahead of it. Or no, he's behind it here, but is he going to miss it all is the question. They start wrecking. He's going to dive low, gets onto the apron, and... oh... so he didn't have any damage, but he does get some right there. And I don't think Jimmy's got a fast repair left, so he's going to have to repair whatever he's got optionally. Man, you hate to be in that position as a driver, but nature of the beast sometimes. And 4 cautions so far here tonight. Again, it's just, if we can make it to one of those green flag stops, I think these guys will be able to go the rest of the way pretty clean. May see a caution near the end, but I think our longest green flag run so far tonight has been 19 laps. No, I think it's been about 10 laps, somewhere in the 10 to 12 lap region. I was hoping these guys can get a little bit longer than that now. But nonetheless, the racing has still been phenomenal. Again, talked about next week, they're going to head to Legacy Daytona. I don't think I've ever seen an Xfinity race there. It's going to be interesting for these guys. Definitely probably the most technical of all the super speedways that they're going to head to. I will not be here for that race. I'm not sure if there's going to be a backup broadcast for it yet or not. But nonetheless, these guys will certainly still be racing, and then I will be back the Sunday after that for the start of the Truck Series, and that will be back at Talladega Super Speedway. If you're just tuning in, appreciate you being out here, spending your Sunday night, watching these guys go at it here on Ghost Racing Network. Tell you what, trying here to close in on the road to 1,000. It feels like we're almost there, just about at 900 now. So if you got anybody that you think would be interested in watching the broadcast, tell them to give us a subscribe, follow, whatever they call it. We certainly always appreciate it. Top 3 Super Chatters been updated. Had a pretty big one last week. Mark Von Della during the PGR race with the $25 Super Chat tip. And then Tucker McClendon with the $10. If you guys are out there watching tonight, we certainly appreciate it. All right, pace car pulls off. We are back green here at Daytona. Dawson Wise going to cross the line first on the outside with his teammate Cody Nagels on the inside. This time it's the inside that doesn't get going. That should allow Dawson Wise to get clear. Can he pull David Overstreet with him? Even if he can, it's not going to matter because he doesn't want to take him with him. He drops right down in front to help Cody Nagels out. Overstreet is now awaiting help from the 99 of Alex Giffen. And the next pit window now for these guys would all be at lap 58. Again, 20 laps on the 50% fuel. Unlimited tires, that was the other stat we had here tonight. And the inside line is going to prevail here down the back straightaway. That's going to give the outside a chance to regroup since David Overstreet did drop down to the bottom third on the inside. And he may have saw enough for his liking here today. He's thinking to himself, let me just drop to the bottom here in third place and try to ride this thing out for a little bit. We'll see if the rest of the field decides to do the same. We don't really see much pushing, at least so far here at Daytona in the corners. We've seen a bit on the straightaways, especially towards the front. At the end of this race, though, watch mainly for the guys that are teammates. They very well might start trying to push each other through the corners. You can make a little bit of extra time, but you got to be real smooth with it. Here comes Michael Triscaro on the third lane. Just as I say that, we got one falling towards the back. Couldn't tell who it was. It might have been the 66. Cannot tell still yet. We had somebody drop way to the back. Larry Dickerson just coming out of pit road. Not sure what his issue was. Yellow flag is back out. We got another wreck. This one is entering the trial. Vicente Guerrero's in it. Jimmy Reynolds with more front end damage. And it looks like Michael Triscaro, who we had just saw taking it 3 wide. He has spun through the infield grass. And the 34 front. Man, Robert Jordan is destroyed. This may finish Robert's night off, depending on, I don't know if he's got a fast spare left. I know he's used at least one. He's got to be hoping that he didn't use 2. All right, let's take a look here. Michael Triscaro on the, let's see, behind Mark Mann. Oh, is it a checkup and then he gets turned? Wow, Vicente Guerrero, big airtime. Look at that in just a minute. But what happens here to the 34? I like that chase cam. Let's look at this again. Does he get turned? Vicente Guerrero, his teammate. And I think he's just going to get him a little too early right here. Off of the turn, car really unloads. And yeah, Vicente gets him just slightly too early. That sends Triscaro a little bit to the left. He's trying to save it back to the right. And the 14 is going to hook him into the wall with that. It sends Vicente around, who gets up and on top of the 70 car and rides like that for a little bit. My goodness. And then there's the big contact for Michael Triscaro. 74 Robert Jordan with just nowhere to go. Watch Vicente Guerrero in this wreck. I mean, this gets really ugly for the 14 machine. Up on top of the 70. That gives the 70 big front end damage as well. 70 car, it was Stephen McComas. Give you a couple more angles of it here. How about the onboard here for Vicente Guerrero? The wild ride for the 14. He was able to save it enough to drive it back to the pits, but I would have to think that that's a fast pair for the 14 as well. There you see the 85 getting back on track. Adam Kilday. And final view from the spotter cam. Just a mistake. Not a big one. Again, maybe you get away with it a lot of times, but in this case, you just don't. And, you know, Triscaro being a rookie, maybe Vicente is, you know, pretty good at pushing on the exit of corners for some of his teammates, but it just doesn't work there. Watch Jimmy Reynolds to the 17, middle of your screen. Boom. T-bones Triscaro, had nowhere to go. That finishes the 17 off, and man, Jimmy Reynolds, there has just not been a single ounce of good luck in his night tonight. It was not meant to be or something. That is going to put an end to his night for definite, as he does not have any more fast repairs. In fact, looking at the 17, I take it back. Looks like he did have a fast pair, so I guess on that last wreck where he got the right front damage, he may not have used it because he had already used one. So this one is guaranteedly his second one then. But still doesn't change the fact that Jimmy Reynolds has not had any luck here tonight. Hopefully that can change around right here. The 64 of Brian Kimbler just behind him. Mark Mann has not really had a chance to make a lot of noise here so far tonight. But now he's starting to as he finds himself inside the top 10. Going to be starting in 7th. Dawson Wise going to be leading us back to green here as we now are officially over halfway through this 80-lap event. Bubba Winningham in 2nd. Cody Nagels in 3rd. Alex Giffen 4th. DJ Thomas in 5th. Sean Stevens in 6th. Mark Mann back in 7th. David Overstreet 8th. Joshua Gathright in 9th. And it's going to be Les Levy rounding out your top 10. Richard Sanchez just outside in 11th. Dustin Logston 12th. John Guerra 13th. Stephen McComas in 14th. Andy Brigante in 15th. Harold Rothery 16th. Dusty Burkhardt in 17th. Vicente Guerrero 18th. He had to use a fast pair after that last incident. Jimmy Reynolds in 19th. And Brian Kimbler rounding out your top 20. Dana Osborne 21st. Len McNeese in 22nd. Rick Sebreens in 23rd. It's going to be Sean Wilder in 24th. Adam Kilday 25th. Michael Triscaro back in 26th. Robert Jordan 27th. Larry Dickerson 28th. And Tom Dixon, of course, did not start the field. So we only had 28 guys here to start. And so far, all but Larry Dickerson are still on the lead lap. Dickerson, one of the rookies, but very impressive last week. Was the highest running rookie for most of the race. Of course, DJ Thomas is going to be the highest running rookie in points and the leader in points. As, of course, he did get the win last week. We'll talk a little bit more about the point situation here in just a little bit. And again, I know we keep saying it, but we're still waiting to see if we're going to get one here. If these guys get a caution anytime, I would say lap 58, probably anytime lap 58 or after, they'll be good to make it the rest of the way. And if we don't, we stay green, then we're going to be expecting that final pit stop anytime between lap 60 and 62. Just a matter of how quick these guys decide to go in 20 laps on fuel. Do you pit 2 laps earlier? Do you run it out and pit 2 laps later? I think that's all going to depend on your team's pit strategy. Green flag is back in the air for Dawson Wise and Cody Nagels. They're going to get right back to work as the inside again. Not the best jump, but this is going to allow DJ Thomas to push Dawson Wise right on by his teammate Cody Nagels. We'll see if Dawson decides to drop back down to the bottom. He's clear if he wants it. Sure enough, there he goes. A little bit of a late decision, but he makes it work. And we did hear from the Limitless teammates last week that they're just, you know, well, at least the strategy for last week, I should say, they said it was just whoever fell in front near the end, that's who they were going to push to a win. And you got to wonder if they kind of have that same strategy here tonight. Right now it would be Dawson Wise or DJ Thomas in position. Does look like DJ's got a little front end damage. I don't think it's too bad, but it's certainly going to hurt that outside line with him being the leader with that much damage. Yeah, middle of the hood's crumpled pretty bad. That thing is not as aerodynamic as it should be. We got one just darted off there. I think that was the 62. Good save there for Les Levy. Yeah, sure enough. And then a couple spots ahead, Alex Giffen in the 99. Mentioned him a couple times tonight. He is rocking the pit stall paint scheme. Not sure if you can see it too well. There you go. And you know what? We had a chance to hear that we could do some of these before the start of the season. So let's see if we can get a quick in-race interview with Cody Nagels here. See how he's feeling. He sure looks happy enough. Let's see if we can bring him in here and see what his thoughts are on how this race has been running so far and how the rest of it's going to go. Hey Cody, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, I figured we might as well give one of these in-race interviews a try, and what better man to start with than last season's champion back-to-back. But let's talk about the start for this season here. It was a good run for you last week. You pushed a teammate to a win. Here tonight, you're looking very calm, collected. What's the strategy the rest of the way with the cautions we've seen so far?
Stay out front. My settings are messed up in iRacing right now because I reset a bunch of stuff. So in the I file, I didn't fix where it says like your fast repair. So basically, a fast repair got taken from me because I didn't uncheck it. So I only have one fast repair when I haven't been involved in a wreck. So that sucks. So the plan is to just stay in front of the potential wrecks and not be down to my last car, you know, inside of like 20 to go. So track position is going to be key.
We're watching you on the onboard here. Just nice and smooth, pushing your teammate. No rush right now, but looking later on here, we haven't seen much strategy be able to come into play here tonight. But we could see one green flag pit stop here, more towards lap 60 now. There's a little bit of a fuel window to play with there. Is it more of a try to pit as soon as that window opens, or do you think maybe more running it out?
I kind of just want to pit when the window opens, man. Just, again, stay out in front of the carnage. And I don't know, there might be 2 to 3 laps to play around with, so I don't think there's a lot. So, yeah, while this window opens, we'll probably start talking about it and try to make an early attempt at the pit cycle.
All right, well, thanks for giving us an in-race interview here. We'll keep an eye on you the rest of the way, and we'll see if you can get your first one of the season here.
Yep, thank you.
That is Cody Nichols going to drag him back to his team here, and we will go right on back to full screen in just a moment. There's Cody in the bottom right. Getting talked about, they look relaxed. I'm telling you, that is the best way to race, and it seems like the guys that are the least tense have had the best luck here tonight. Michael Triscaro, he is currently trying to rebound after the 2 accidents back-to-back now that he has been involved in. He is back in the 24th position, and does that car still have pretty heavy damage? Front seems to be okay, but a little bit beat up, and the back is a little bit beat up as well. As long as he can maintain the draft for now, I think he's okay. He's just looking to kind of get to this pit stop, I would assume, but he's going to have to get a little bit further up if he wants to stick with his teammates during and after those pit stops. Cody mentioned stay ahead of the carnage. You know, a lot of guys think the back is the safest place to be, but I think I got to agree with Cody tonight. We've seen guys in the back still get caught up in the mix. I think you got to go to the front and try to stay at the front for the entire race if you can. Nobody has really been too brave to want to do 3 wide here during this run. I think maybe these guys have finally started to realize that it's been a little too chaotic. Let's simmer down until we get a pit stop under our belts. So with that, they stay 2 by 2. Cody Nagels leads the inside. Ooh, big checkup right there. Overstreet has to dip out of line. Everybody letting him up. Les Levy. And that is going to cause some 3 wide action. Everybody hold your breath here. To the outside now, looks like is going to be, we got a couple cars actually that jump to the outside. First one is going to be the 89 machine of Joshua Gathright. He's making some noise. And then the 70, Stephen McComas, who we saw involved in that last wreck, had Vicente Guerrero on his front hood. But either way, Cody Nagels leading the inside, Dawson Wise on the outside. In third place right now is DJ Thomas. And then the 99 of Alex Giffen. Mark Mann rounding out your top 5, still with damage to the back. It's going to make him a hard guy to push later in the run. The 27 of Sean Stevens has recovered nicely after being in an incident early and then losing the draft. He sits in 6th. Richard Sanchez back in 7th. David Overstreet still in the top 10 in 8th. Dustin Logston in 9th. And Les Levy rounding out your top 10, sponsor of last week's race. And then Sean Water, we talked about him a couple times, sponsor of this week's race with the Pit Stall 200. 200 miles here was the distance tonight. The World Center of Racing will be the home to next week. But let's talk, before we get to the pit stops here, which are starting to look a little bit more like the reality, going to be in about a time from about 10 to 12 laps from now, depending on when these guys choose. And I think we're going to see at least Limitless probably go in right as the fuel opens. In fact, I think we'll see a couple of the other teams go in then as well. But talking real quick about the point scenario, and then we'll talk about the schedule in just a moment. And in fact, we're gonna let's see if we can do this. The screen's gonna go a little wonky here for just a moment. And there we go. Get this back to full screen. As you see, the 98 of Dawson Wise still leading the way on the inside. The man leading in points, though, is DJ Thomas after getting that win last week. Cody Nagels sits in second. Dean Wilkinson third, and then it's another one of the rookies, Michael Triscaro, in fourth. Michael Whitaker fifth. Larry Dickerson and Dawson Wise tied for sixth. Well, I guess I should say sixth and seventh, but they're tied for sixth. David Overstreet and Dusty Burkhardt both tied for eighth and ninth. Eighth, and then whichever one is going to lose will go to ninth this week, and then Dusty Burkhardt rounding out your top 10 in points. Some of the guys that are looking to that are having a good night so far that should move way up in points: Richard Sanchez, Alex Kiffin, plenty more that we just aren't going to probably mention, but they're up there. Jimmy Reynolds, on the other hand, not a great week last week and not going to be a great week this week so far, but he still has some turnaround time. We'll see if he can make it happen. As we go back looking at the schedule, we talked about it. The format is kind of a pattern. So we're going to start with Talladega, followed by Daytona in the Xfinity. And then actually, I take it back. I thought it was Daytona last week. I was incorrect. Looks like we're going to go back to Talladega in the Xfinity Series. And then we're going to go to Legacy Daytona to finish out the Xfinity run before we head to the Truck Series. And it's going to be the same schedule with Talladega and then New Daytona, followed by Talladega and then Old Daytona. That'll alternate again before we have the All-Star race in the ARCA cars. That will have an LCQ format. The chase starts around of 16. Going to be two races, Daytona in the trucks, and then Talladega in the Xfinity cars. Round of 8 will be Daytona, Legacy Daytona in the trucks, followed by Daytona, New Daytona in Xfinity. Oh, we got a wreck. Couple guys going around, and Cody Nagels is going to be one of them this time. Out back, how many guys get involved? Looks like so far everybody's doing okay at missing it. And as that is 66, it looks like that got the worst of it so far. Bubba Winningham up front. Saw Cody go for a half spin. Did he save it? I think he did. He's got some right side damage, but it doesn't seem to be too bad. And this, well, we're still not in the window yet for no pit stops, but it's slowly starting to creep down to that way. And we were close too. We were about 7 laps from making it there. Let's take a look at what's going to bring out, I believe, your 5th caution here of the night. And Bubba Winningham, I think, got the worst of it, so we're going to try to find, I think it's going to start with him, I would have to assume. And this actually starts in the middle of 1 and 2 towards the exits. Look from the spotter cam. Not sure if he's the innocent victim here or if he's the one where it starts. Oh, no, he's the innocent victim. The 20 of DJ Thomas is the first guy with issues. Oh, man, the 70 took a big hit. Oh, my goodness. So this actually starts up front. Watch the 04 of Mark Mann. And the 6 of Cody Nagels is there. A little bit of neck hook between these two. Or does Mark give a little bump to DJ in a bad spot? Yeah, it looks like Mark just taps DJ Thomas. Well, he's a little high. Maybe one of those little bit of a rookie mistakes right there. Maybe Mark felt like he was leaving a lane for him. And he certainly didn't seem like he was, just running a little bit high. Does he come down, though? No, I mean, he's still there. I think Mark just hits him offset. And that turns him down into his teammate, Cody Nagels. Sends Cody for a slide. You see Cody got pretty big damage to the back when he got tagged, but he saves it. Now back here's the big hit. Look at the 70. Boom. Big shot back into the 11 of Harold Rothery. That was Stephen McComas. As he talked about up front, Cody Nagels did hold on to it. He did a nice job. Man, that's a huge hit for the 70. That's going to be a fast car for sure, assuming he's got one left. Stephen McComas was involved in one wreck, so we know he's used at least one fast car. Not sure if he's had to use a second yet. Let's look at this from a couple different angles here. Bubba Winningham comes along in this and just nowhere to go as he has to touch the outside wall. But I take it back who got the worst of it. It was definitely Stephen McComas who got the worst of it. I think Bubba Winningham may have had that damage already. And then a couple final shots of it right here. Right on the roll bar. The 70 machine. Trying to sneak by on the inside. Just gets tagged. And just nothing you can do as a driver at that point except just try to get rolling, get it back to pit road. So you don't have to worry about paying the expensive tow bill that a couple of those guys may have right there. 55 of 80 laps completed. We've got a plane landing in the background. But up front, it's Dawson Wise, Richard Sanchez in second, Mark Mann third, Alex Giffen in fourth, Dustin Logston rounding out your top five, Joshua Gathright sixth, Vicente Guerrero seventh, DJ Thomas back in eighth, Len McNeese in ninth, and John Garrow rounding out your top 10. And Mark Mann in the 04. Talk about just a little bit of an offset push. I don't know if I would so much call it a mistake. Just, you know, sometimes you think maybe there's a little bit of room. Or again, maybe he felt like he was set good enough, but just did not quite work out in that situation. Everybody did come down the pits to top off on fuel. And again, we could still see one more stop. Now, it does get interesting. This does throw some strategy back into it right here. You know, I think some of these guys could be considering stretching it right here, especially with seeing some of them go down to top off right here. We're going to go green with, it's going to be 20, I believe 24 laps to go. Yeah, so it's going to be 24 laps to go when we go green. Got to be honest, that's a long ways to go on fuel with what is probably between 20 and 21 laps if you're running hard. So it's going to be close. I think we're going to have some guys try it. But if you're not on the fuel strategy, in fact, I think if you don't think that you're going to make it on fuel, you should go with this strategy is maybe pit here as soon as that window opens. So I'm talking about 6-7 laps from now. Window opens with 20 to go, but just to be safe, I think you go in with maybe 17 laps to go. And then that way the guys that maybe try to make it on fuel, they're going to have to push the pace, and it just helps your cause out even more. We'll just have to see, though, what strategies these guys decide to go with here. I think it's about to get pretty crazy. It's about to get pretty chaotic here. Going to take a quick break here right before we get back to green. We'll be right back. Stick with us.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, or the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Daytona International Speedway just in time for the restart. Green flag is back in the air for Dawson Wise and Richard Sanchez, who gets out to a big jump. 24 laps to go. And Sanchez is going to get clear. Shirt off, he drops right down. That puts the 38 on the outside. Dustin Logston has some front-end damage, and that could be a big part of the reason that everybody's going to leave him out to dry right here. They're all going by on the inside. Vicente Guerrero, Alex Giffen, even the 89 can leave him to dry. That's Joshua Gathright. Up 9 from where he started. He's having a pretty good night as of right now. We'll see if he can finish this deal off. So kind of I would say an off-sequence restart from what we've seen here for the rest of the night as quickly as they all got single file. Could it be a sign of strategy, or some guys focusing on fuel, or are some of them getting lined up for a quick stop here? Cody Nagels is in. He's trying to get some track position to get back up to his teammates. 23 laps to go at the line this time. Before things get too crazy, before we see too much action, how about a little crank it up for the NSRA Sunday Select Series? Here we go. caution is out as we got another wreck here with 21 laps to go. It started to get a little messy. He was just getting ready to come back from our Crank It Up segment, but unfortunately we just couldn't quite make it that far. Looks like the 70 is caught up in this one as well. Might put an end to his night. David Overstreet gets in this one. Oh man, more contact after the fact between Sean Wilder and Dana Osborne. John Guerra was in it. I mean, we got a ton of cars tore up in this one. This very well may have been considered the big one. And let's take a look at what brings out your 7th caution here of the night. And it actually, I would say it starts further back, to be honest. But right here is where finally again, Richard Sanchez got on the apron. What got him on the apron is the question. He was on the apron all the way from entry here. Man, before that. And it just... So we're just going to leave it with the fact that he's on the apron here for quite some time. Stays on the apron. And now he's trying to merge up. Almost makes contact. That gets him loose as he's trying to steer it back down. Gets back up and then... you hate to see it. A little bit of net code between him and the 88 as they were both just kind of drifting a little bit towards each other here. It looks like Sanchez... Now the 88's not really moving. It looks like Sanchez coming up a little bit. And then, yeah, just some right rear net code. You hate to see that. Turns the 510 into the wall, collecting Bubba Winningham. And then David Overstreet just nowhere to go. And then everybody that's going to pile in here after. Man, Overstreet took a big hit. I think he got actually propelled in the air a little bit right here. Watch this. 68 gets collected. Watch, it's going to kind of hook in the wall. There's a big hit. And then right there's going to get tagged. Gets a little bit of airtime just for insult to injury. The 64, along with it looks like, is that the 66 maybe? I can't tell who that is. I think that's Bubba Winningham. May have snuck by this. No, Bubba was way back there. It must have been a similar looking car. One more view of it here. She'll take 2 more views of it. Just a tough break for David Overstreet. All the other guys involved. Richard Sanchez. Just a net coding incident again, but that wasn't one where I think anybody could really do anything. I mean, if you're Richard Sanchez, you can't just drop out and lose the pack this late in the race. I feel like he did a decent job merging back on. Unfortunately, it happened after he merged, and then you see Sean Wilder right there. More contact after the fact. Take a ride on the gyro here. The gyro for David Overstreet. Right there, how it almost hooks Richard Sanchez in the wall was an interesting look. And that's what actually gives David probably the most damage, along with Richard Sanchez, and then Sean Wilder on the grass. Who's going to come along and hit him here? The 91 looks okay. And in fact, a lot of these guys seem to be okay at this point. And there's just more contact after the fact. So as we go back live up front, Cody Nagels is your current leader. Alex Giffen in 2nd. Joshua Gathright 3rd. Vicente Guerrero in 4th. Dustin Logston in 5th. Dawson Wise in 6th. Les Levy in 7th. Richard Sanchez 8th. Rick Sebreens in 9th. And Len McNeese rounding out your top 10. This does put everybody inside that fuel window, so we will not see any green flag stops tonight. I don't think you're going to necessarily hear me saying that too many times throughout the season, but it's just been a little messy here tonight. I guess on the flip side of it, it's go time now. The 3 wide that we've seen a little bit of tonight is going to be in full swing at this point. Well, at least you think so. I mean, we do have a couple guys out now, so that may damper spirits just a little bit. But it's going to be a 17 lap to go restart, it's looking like, and there's no time to waste for these guys. They are going to have to get to the front if they want a shot at winning this thing. Alex Giffen, we keep talking about him. He's been having himself a very good night. Let's see if we can go get a quick word with the 99 here before this restart. Hey, Alex, this is all set up at the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Good, man. Well, you've been having a pretty good run here so far tonight. You find yourself at the highest position you've been in here tonight. Up here, going to be starting on that first row, 2nd on the inside. And how you feel about your chances?
I don't know. It's been a good night so far. Best run I've had here in a while. So we'll see if I can get some help.
Well, speaking of help, things tend to get crazy at the end of these. And now that we know fuel's not an issue, tell us a little bit about these Xfinity cars. Is it one of those things where you kind of want to just try to stay on the bottom, or do you have to try to work the lanes?
I kind of prefer second lane up high.
All right, well, we'll see if you can get there then. Hey, I'll let you go get ready. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you, man.
And Alex Giffen, we talked about earlier, looks like he is working with the race sponsor here tonight, Sean Wilder, who got involved in that last wreck. Speaking of Sean Wilder, see how he's doing. He is still on pit road. Had to use a fast pair in an incident earlier. May have had to use both of his already. Certainly what it's looking like with him being stopped on pit road. Could be the final restart here. Again, we're not expecting any more green flag stops. 17 laps to go. You know, I think everybody will be good even at this point for probably both green-white checkers, because you know everybody's saving a little bit here under caution. But some of the names that are up here now in this inside line, they've got a really strong chance at it. I mean, you look at it here, Alex Giffen on the inside, Joshua Gathright, Dustin Logston. I mean, guys that have just been creeping around all day, and now that they know it's the end, they're going to really put their name out there, make a statement, and try to see if they can get their first win here tonight, as they all watched the rookie DJ Thomas do here last week. But that outside's going to be tough. 3 of the Limitless teammates, Richard Sanchez, who's led a ton of laps today. You know, all those guys are going to be looking to split up, get both lanes clogged up here as soon as possible. And we'll see what the inside can do about it. No damage for Alex Giffen. The 38's got a little bit. We'll see how that does affect the inside. Green flag is back in the air. 17 laps to go, Daytona. We got a big checkup out back. That sends the 20 of DJ Thomas off track. Looks like he saves it. That is going to hurt him, and he is going to lose the draft. Gives him a bit more damage as well. Mistake off the restart from somebody is going to cost a couple other guys. Meanwhile, up front, they stay side by side. The inside got a good enough jump to hang dead even with the Limitless teammates. But here's the big push on the outside from Vicente Guerrero. Is it going to be enough here to get Cody clear? He's got a lot of momentum. The 99 with a bit of a side draft down the straightaway. And he does hold him off. That's going to be the hardest time to do it on that first lap down into turn 3. But the inside doesn't look as organized. You can see they're about bumper to bumper on that top line. They're not quite that way on the bottom. In fact, only the first 2 cars are really bumper to bumper. The 38 doesn't seem to be able to pull up. That is going to cause Joshua Gathright to get hot a lot quicker. And right now he has got to be saying in his mic, you got to get here. Contact. The 38's going to go around. Can Dustin Logston save it? Oh, he's coming back up. Got to get that thing woed up. Does a little drift in action. He does save it. We'll check it out in just a moment. Does everybody else gather it up? They do. Man, what a close call for Dustin Logston. I don't know how he held on to this one. You saw him starting to fishtail around, not the 38 specifically, but all these guys kind of figured something would give, and it finally did. 38, does he get turned? No. Gets up the track a little bit. Not sure if it was from a shove from the guy behind her, just gets up and then gets to Richard Sanchez, sends him down. Boy, he was laying down tire tracks left and right. I still cannot believe he saved that. Does he keep the draft? He doesn't, but he is going to get linked up with DJ Thomas. Those two will have to stay together and just hope for a caution in these final 15 laps. Maybe I should say 14, because of course if we make it to the white flag, then we will not see a caution. This race will finish under green. Meanwhile, during that replay, Cody Nagels found his way to the bottom line in front of Alex Giffen. Just not much Alex and Josh could do with no help really from the third car, and then they lost a ton of momentum when the 38 got sent to the inside. The 89 was just going to get hot too quick. In fact, he might still be getting hot as he backed way off right there. He might have saw the red lights blinking. He decided he needed to cool that thing down just a little bit. So Alex Giffen will do a little push in here. Oh, man. Almost got the tunnel vision as he almost followed Cody Nagels up. That's the one thing we haven't seen yet tonight, but that could be something we see here at the end. You're riding right behind that car. In fact, let's show you a little bit of what this looks like, just to put it into perspective. All right. Picture right now that you are Joshua Gathright in the 89, who, by the way, is up 12th from where he started. He is focused right now on the center portion of the back bumper, the 99 of Alex Giffen. He's not really focused on anything else. So if that 99 moves up, he's not focused on that. He's just focused on the back bumper. He's not going to realize that he's moving up unless he calls it. And that's where you can see some of these accidents with another driver following somebody up to that second lane. It's got a Manny Ray's Noma Super Speedway logo on the back, by the way, for the 99. Shout out to Noma. Not sure if they're watching out here tonight, but Richard Hurst broadcasts their Super Speedway series. Does a heck of a job. Those are on Monday nights. Make sure you go check them out. And then, of course, I take on the Truck Series side of it. Broadcast them every Saturday. This Saturday was an off weekend, and then I will not be there for next Saturday. Ooh, Alex touched the apron there. You got to be real careful with it. Oh, no, he gets Cody Nagels out of shape. Cody's trying to save it. 99 has to go up the track to catch it. They all save it. But it's a mess. 3 or maybe almost 4 wide out back as everybody's just trying to fight for any position through the scramble. Cody did a great job saving it, but he's not going to be too happy as he had to fall back probably about 10 positions as a result of it. Alex Giffen, on the other hand, was able to stay in his position second on that inside line. Just looked like he clipped the apron and then gave Cody an offset push. And, man, Cody wheels and deals. I don't know how he saved some of these things. You can see now, looking a little bit more serious. He knows it is go time. You can see that in the facial expression. Michael Trasquero, by the way, still hanging on to this pack with the damaged car. And it looks like, I don't know if he's going to have enough speed to run back up to the front. He might be playing it safe with no fast pair left. Or saving a fast pair. Who knows? Oh, there it is. Big wreck. On the backstretch, the 99's in it. Richard Sanchez down to the bottom. He gets T-boned. Mark Mann with heavy damage to the front end. Everybody else is going to creep on by. Alex Giffen may have hit the inside wall as well. Richard Sanchez back rolling. 8th caution of the night. Vicente Guerrero walks away with it as your leader. There's Mark Mann with heavy front end damage. I think he does have a fast pair though, so he should be okay. Let's see what happens right here. Just gonna start off the let's see if we can look from the blimp cam. Oh, somebody gets shoved out of line. That's where it starts. Does Alex Giffen maybe blow up right here? Or does he wash up? I think he's gonna wash up. See the 99 on the bottom starting to creep up. And then they make contact there. I mean, you might want to call it, you could call it netco, but that looks like contact to me. Even if there was, I think they were going to make contact eventually. That sends Dawson Wise up into the wall, and then Richard Sanchez and everybody else is going to pile in with nowhere to go. The 99 spinning in the middle of the track. Mark Mann, there's the big impact for the 04. And Richard Sanchez spinning down low. Man, big hits for some of these guys. Take a couple more views. One from TV3 right here. Just a little bit of a mistake there. Alex Giffen, the Xfinity cars, they tend to wash up. The 88, Guerra, he washes into that wreck as well. And this took out, the 99 definitely took out a couple of the Limitless guys here in the last couple laps. Does Cody sneak by this? Yeah, he does as he gets down to the bottom. Unfortunately, Dawson Wise wasn't. Overstreet piles in. I think the 11, though, of Harold Rothery, he may have got through without damage. And let's ride on board here with Harold Rothery. I think he gets through this. Actually, I should say just behind Harold Rothery. There we go. And he's Dyson, sees Overstreet. Oh my goodness. If he got hit, it was just minimal. I mean, I don't know how he snuck through it, but he did. Actually, on just a minute now. Saw somebody coming up there at the end. I think he missed some. But let's just make sure here. 62 starting to come back up. There's the 88s. Yep, does the checkup. So yeah, sure enough, he gets through that unscathed. One more angle here from the spotter stand. It's a tough break for, man, a lot of these guys. The 13 was involved in that one after escaping the one before it, Andy Brigante. And that does indeed, as we talked about, bring out your 8th caution of the night. So we are now on an average of a caution every 10 laps, which is about what it has been here. So with 10 to go, maybe that's the signal that we are going to finish this thing under green and go green for the rest of the way. But up front, it is Vicente Guerrero leading. Rick Seabrian's in 2nd, Cody Nagel's 3rd, Joshua Gathright in 4th, Len McNeese in 5th, Sean Stevens 6th, Andy Brigante in 7th. And actually, that's a pretty good recovery for the 13 after getting some contact from that last wreck. Michael Trasquero in 8th, Robert Jordan in 9th. And Robert Jordan actually may have had a fast pair sitting somewhere left because he took it. Michael Trasquero. Adam Kilday rounding out your top 10, though. Brian Kimbler, 11th. Jimmy Reynolds, 12th. Larry Dickerson, 13th. Dusty Burkhart, 14th. And David Overstreet rounding out your top 15th. There's DJ Thomas, the rookie. I wonder if he's got a fast pair sitting around and he's just been saving it or what the deal is. He's running out of time to use it as it's going to be an 8 to go restart. I think we're going to get the one to get a signal this time. We are going to take another break. I wish that we weren't, but we're under caution. So I'm going to go get a quick drink of water and be back here hopefully for the finish. Be right back.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Daytona International Speedway for the Pit Stall 200 for the NSRA Sunday Select Series. 71 laps complete, 8 cautions, more lead changes than I can count. A lot of guys with laps led, but the man that's leading them back to green for potentially the final restart. I keep saying that, and it keeps proving me wrong. Looks to be Vicente Guerrero. Pace car is going to pull off. It's going to be 8-lap shootout to decide who wins the first race under the lights here at Daytona. Green flag is back in the air. Good jump from Vicente Guerrero. Not so much for Rick Severance, but he's going to try to get a little side draft. And he does have a little bit more organization, though, behind it from that outside line. Joshua Gathright to his back bumper. Track temp has fallen to 73. A little bit of significance as that does make the handling a lot better for these guys. Started cool, has just gotten cooler. It's going to take him a lap or so to get up to speed right here. But so far, so good for Vicente Guerrero. He's going to try to fend off the inside. Ooh, looks like we got one off to 25 of Sean Stevens. Not sure if he didn't like what he saw or if he got shoved out of line. But he is going to fall. Excuse me, that was Larry Dickerson. Sean Stevens is in 27. Larry Dickerson didn't like what he saw, so he fell out of line. Sean Stevens, though, is up near the front in the 27 machine. Third car on the outside. Vicente Guerrero still leads the bottom. That outside, only 4 cars make it 5 now, so it is a 4-on-5 battle. 4 on the inside, 5 on the outside. Pretty even looking so far. Make it 6 laps to go now. Excuse me, 7. Oh, we got 2 off. Big hit to the inside for the 11 of Harold Rothery. No caution yet. We stay green. Now the caution flies. And Dawson Wise was the other car tangled up with him. Can't tell who got the worst of this. I'm thinking it's going to be Harold Rothery. Oh, yeah, definitely. I take it back. I certainly know who got the worst of it here. And this is coming out of the trial. This is an odd spot to wreck, but one of those places where if you do wreck here, there is absolutely nowhere to go. Take a look from the spotter stand first. So they're 3 wide. It's a little bit of netcode or contact. No, Dawson Wise and Richard Sanchez, they do make contact from that angle. Sends Dawson Wise down into the 11, and boom. Big, big hit for Harold Rothery. You see Dawson Wise was able to miss that inner wall just out of the pit exit, but Rothery was not so lucky. Let's look at this from the screenshot view. See if that gives us a little better insight on... I'm pretty sure there was indeed contact here. And it looks like, watch Sanchez's tires. You see they're above the black line. And they start to come below it. Now, it does look like you had one kind of coming down a little bit and one coming up. And then, like I said, once they make contact, that does send Harold Rothery. Watch this hit. Slow motion for you. That wall comes up quick. He's trying to steer out of it. Boom. Not able to. And he's lucky there was probably no more traffic. A lot of times when you hit that wall, it will shoot you back up onto the track. He was able to get rolling after that, but just destroys the front end. There's a couple more views of it right here. TV static cam, and not sure if it's going to give us a good view. Yeah, sure enough, it's not. So we'll go take a ride on board here, actually, with Harold Rothery. And he's just nothing he can do here. Innocent victim in this case. Good look from the TV2 cam as Dawson Wise gets away unharmed. Give you one final angle of it here from the chopper. Show you exactly what it looked like with the one guy coming up, the one guy coming down. Richard Sanchez and Dawson Wise were the two that get into each other here. And yeah, I'm not sure if it was, I'm not sure. It's hard to say on that one, but wreck ensued, and that does bring out your 9th caution of the night. Kevin Eagles in the chat says, let's go limitless, boys. Kevin, we don't see you out here this weekend. What's going on? Up front, Vicente Guerrero. Cody Nagels is back to 2nd. Rick Seabrans in 3rd. As he might be, actually, I think he's going to be starting 2nd. I think they're just lining up now. So Rick Seabrans might be 2nd. Cody Nagels looking like he's 3rd. Joshua Cathright in 4th, up 11 from where he started here tonight. By the way, Rick Seabrans, he's up 20 from where he started. And Len McNeese, who we see up here now, he is up 22 positions from where he started. Sean Stevens in 6th. Robert Jordan in 7th after a pretty crazy night for him. Andy Brigante in 8th. Adam Kilday up 19 positions in 9th. And Brian Kimbler working his way into the top 10. Now, he does have some damage to the back end of that 64 Chevy Camaro, but he looks to be good to go. Dusty Burkhart in 11th. Michael Trisco 12th. Jimmy Reynolds 13th. Les Levy 14th. Kevin Eagles says still needs some work. I'll tell you what, Kevin, you still get yourself in here. If you don't feel comfortable, sit right around in the back of the pack until you feel comfortable. Start slowly working your way through. Looked fine to me last week. I think you only had one incident or something. I mean, you look at tonight, we've had 9 cautions with some of the best of the best. So, I mean, certainly wouldn't stress on yourself too much there. Should be getting the 1 to go signal this time, so that will put us at 3 laps to go. And some of these guys may be hoping that we can just get this race finished by now, as it has definitely been a little bit of a messier night. I mean, go back to last week, I think we only had maybe 3-4 cautions. You fast forward to this week, we've had over double what we had last week. And it's just a big part of it is those green flag pit stops are just so crucial in the sense of you just got to get to one. If you get to one of those green flag stops, the race has a really high tendency to go green the rest of the way. But if you can't, the saying goes, cautions breed cautions. It's certainly been that way here tonight. But we are still going to crown most likely a new winner, as DJ Thomas, last week's winner, is currently pretty far back in the pack, still with front end damage. His chances of having a fast enough car to win it, not looking great, but you never know. We've seen plenty of crazy things happen. I think right now, though, one of the Limitless Racing guys still has to be one of the favorites, but I would not count out Rick Seabrans. I think this was all by plan, him waiting till this point in the race and all of a sudden finding himself at the front, not by mistake. The 89 of Joshua Gathright, been a good solid pusher here these last couple of restarts. And then the 27 of Sean Stevens, he does have some damage to the front end of his car, but I think he's going to be okay as long as he's in the trap. That outside line's just got to hope that he can stay tucked up enough for them to continue to make progress. And I'm thinking that the 27 having damage may have been part of the reason here that Vicente Guerrero... Well, no, I take that back. He chose the bottom because he's got a teammate behind him, whereas the top would not have been a teammate. And I think those two Limitless guys, they are going to stick right in that lane, bumper to bumper, for these last 3 laps. I think if they do finish that way, don't be surprised to hear Cody say after the race that they kind of decide there at the end, however the chips fall, is how they're going to leave them. That's how they work best together, and seemed to work pretty good last season for Cody Nagels, as it led him to the championship where he did win it, went back to back. All right, we are going to find ourselves a winner here. It's not overtime yet, but remember, if we can make it to the white flag, then this race will be official. That will be 2 laps from now. Can we make it? You're about to find out. Green flag is back in the air for Vicente Guerrero. 3 laps to go at Daytona. Good start here from both lanes, but the outside only has organization for the first 2 rows. This is going to significantly help the inside, as they are already ready to get away. Now they start to line up a little bit on the outside. Ooh, contact right there between Vicente Guerrero. Now the 89 of Joshua Gathright gets down into Cody Nagels. What in the world happened there? Not sure if it was netcode or trying to make a move. Everybody saves it, but that leaves the outside with no help. Now the 84 is going to jump up. Len McNeese trying to make charge to the front. Vicente Guerrero still leading the bottom with his teammate Cody Nagels. And Robert Jordan now third on the inside. That puts Limitless 1, 2, 3. The 13 not able to get up just yet, but they're going to stay side by side. You know somebody's going to take it 3 wide. The question is just when and where do we see the move out back? Looks like Mark Mann, he's going to start his charge to the front, and he's going to get some help from Alex Giffen. 2 laps to go now. And there's the 3 wide move. Maybe not. Len McNeese looked like he thought about it. Now he gets down into Cody Nagels, who saves it. It's going to come back up on the track. I don't think we're going to make it. These guys are all over the place. Everybody's still trying to keep it together. Onto the Daytona super stretch in the middle, further back. DJ Matthews trying to make his way back to the front. DJ Thomas, excuse me. Just behind him, Richard Sanchez with a big push on the outside. The 62 of Les Levy leading that third line. But they still don't have much momentum on the bottom. Vicente Guerrero gets a nose out in front. Now about half a car with a teammate pushing down the short chute for the final time. Before we take the white flag, can we make it? We do. This race is going to be official. Who is going to win it? One more lap to go at Daytona. There's the 3 wide move. Len McNeese jumps up as they all wreck out back. Len McNeese jumps back down low. The wreck out back, it's a big one, but it's not going to matter because the race is official. Mark Manson, it looks like Jimmy Reynolds may have been involved as well. And they're going to stay side by side. They may finish this way because that's the only lanes that have momentum right now. Nobody is up top, and nobody looks like they want to go up top. 2 Limitless teammates on the bottom versus the 4 of Rick Seabrains and Len McNeese on the top. Final time now into turn 3. We're going to see one more big push, some contact now. Everybody's still trying to gather back up. Robert Jordan almost goes for a spin. The inside is separated, so is the outside. More contact now for Cody Nagels and Len McNeese. Now the outside gets the help. 3 wide. Here comes Len McNeese in the middle. It's going to be a photo finish. Who gets it? It is going to be Rick Seabrains at the line after the 84 got spun. Oh my goodness. By 1/100th of a second. How does he get it? Oh my goodness. I don't know if he's going to be able to burn it down because that thing got destroyed after the line. But whether he can or can't, he is a winner. And the Sunday Select Series for the NSRA. Oh my goodness, we got to go back and take a look at this finish. That was absolute chaos. The amount of contact between these guys through turns 3 and 4 was a little bit more than friendly, to say the least. But he found a way. Let's go to the spotter view for it here. And watch how crazy things are going to get here. I thought that the inside had it locked up. There's some contact, and that really breaks Cody Nagels up. They lose their third help. Len McNeese maybe gets a little bit of a side draft here. Then they're going to make some more contact. And then right here, I thought for sure McNeese sticks with him. In the third lane, the middle just opens up out of absolutely nowhere. Watch that again here. It actually opens up to 4 lanes almost. There's the middle, and then there's the top for Joshua Gathright. All of a sudden, the bottom's the only lane with help. And then Gathright tugs back in behind the 4. Now there's going to be some contact between Len McNeese and Vicente Guerrero that's going to spin the 84 down, and man, you got to wonder if that doesn't happen. How close is it? Because even with it, I mean, oh my goodness, is that a finish or what? After a caution-filled night, the finish did not disappoint. Let's see if we can get a better shot on this. I mean, it was mere inches separating these two. Again, only 1/100th of a second. Your margin of victory here tonight. Oh, there you go. In fact, we're going to get this frame by frame just to show you exactly how close it was. And it looks like now the view isn't going to be as friendly with us as it just was, unfortunately. See if we can go back to TV3. I want to see that one cam for it again. Man, I still cannot get over what a finish from these guys, right? Photo finish at the line. And there you go. That's, I tell you what, that one shows you just how close it was. If you go one more frame, you can see that at that point, he's already taken it. Man, oh man, what a win for Rick Seabrains to get his first win of the season. All right, we're going to go get interviews from your top 3 here in just a moment. Before we do that, let's check out your results tonight so we can go check out your winner and his burnouts. Rick Seabrains brings home the win. Second is going to be Len McNeese. Vicente Guerrero finishes third. Joshua Gathright fourth. Cody Nagels in fifth. Moving on back, it's going to be Sean Stevens in 6th, Robert Jordan 7th, Brian Kimbler finishes 8th with Andy Brigante in 9th, Adam Kilday 10th, Larry Dickerson in 11th, Michael Triscaro 12th, Richard Sanchez finishes 13th. 14th is going to be Alex Giffen, Bubba Winningham rounding out your top 15, Dusty Burkhart in 16th, Jimmy Reynolds 17th, Dustin Logston rounds out the top 18th, and going back to round out your top 20 is going to be Les Levy and Mark Mann. DJ Thomas finishes 21st, John Garrow 22nd, David Overstreet in 23rd, Dawson Wise 24th, Harold Rothery in 25th, going to be Dana Osborne in 26th, Sean Wilder 27th, Stephen McComas 28th, and Tom Dixon, of course, who was not able to start the race, finishes 29th. See if your leader went up here and decided to do some burnouts as he does so. We are going to go get your top 3 from interviews. We will be right back. Stay with us. All right, back live at Daytona International Speedway. As your winner, Rick Seabrings burns it down. We're here with third place finisher Vicente Guerrero. Vicente, got a copy?
Yes, sir. I sure do.
All right, well, not probably the result you were looking for going into that last lap. You had the lead. Things started to get a little bit physical towards the end there. What do you make of that last lap?
It is what it is. I'm happy for Rick for winning that. It was aggressive driving up here, and I expected nothing less.
Well, you certainly were showing your strength throughout tonight. Limitless, in general, showing quite a dominant performance. Now, next week we head back to Talladega. We saw one of your teammates get the win there. How do you feel about your chances?
Oh, I think my chances are good as any. I mean, we got a solid team here. It was Dawson and Cody and Robert, and who else do I got in here? And Michael tonight. So it was fun racing with all this, the throwback with the, the old IROC scheme. So I think my chance is pretty good. If they all show up next week, yeah, it'll be fun. I guarantee probably one of us will probably win next week.
All right. Hey, calling the shot. I like it. Before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Oh, all my teammates tonight for racing, Dawson, Michael, Robert, and Cody. And thank you for broadcasting and NSRA for putting on this league. I really enjoy racing.
All right. Well, thank you for talking to us, Vicente. Again, congrats on the third place finish, and we will see you, I guess, a couple Sundays from now. I will not be here next Sunday.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right, and we're going to move Vicente down. Actually, let's move him back down to his team here, and then we'll bring up your second place finish here tonight. Let me tell you something. Race control right now is a busy place. There are a couple guys that are not too happy. Len McNeese, though, your second place finisher. Let's bring him up. Hey, Len, this is Austin up the booth. Got a copy?
I got you.
You bring home a second place finish. Very physical last lap. Tell us about your last lap and your race overall.
I hated it was getting a little airy there. I don't know. The car was really zigzagging a lot, and I know Cody and I was bumping off each other a little bit, and it turned out a little exciting last lap.
Certainly was exciting. You kind of came out of nowhere towards the end, but, man, when you got to the front, you had a good shot at it. Now, coming out of turn 4 there, was it kind of the plan to take it 3 wide, or were you planning on pushing the 4 and then the lanes just opened?
Yeah, I was going to push the 4. That was my intentions. And like I said, aerodynamics out there, something got crazy. Car started getting real loose. We was all drafting hard together. I seen the lane open, and I just went ahead and had to try for it. Wasn't nothing else to try.
Well, it was a good try, man. You were close, only 100th of a second between you and the leader. We'll see if you can maybe have a good shot at it next week. Certainly looks strong this week. Hey, before we let you go, though, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out here tonight?
I'll definitely want to thank David and Overstreet David O over there and taking care of this, getting this league up and running, and Les and everybody that runs all the admins over here.
All right. Thank you for talking to us. And again, congrats on the second place finish. We'll see you next week.
All right. Appreciate it. Glad you put on a good show for us.
Thank you. All right. Len McNeese, send it back down to his room where we are now going to make room for your winner here tonight. Let's see if we can find him. There he is. Rick Sebreens. Rick, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
10-4, loud and clear.
You get your first win of the season under the bright lights of the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway. No bigger stage to win it on, but man, you kind of came out of nowhere a little bit towards the end. All of a sudden, you find yourself in victory lane. Tell us about it.
Yeah, really, really thankful to bring this Alliance Motorsports Yeti Camaro home in victory tonight. We had a really good run. Unfortunately, we had to use a car up earlier. Otherwise, the night would have been almost perfect there. We kind of got a little bit of track position late there and had a good run, and we were really having a good battle there. I was so focused out front, I don't even know what happened. It sounded like there was a little bit of chaos going on behind us. Can't wait to get out and take a look at the replay and see what happened there. But yeah, I kind of made a mistake there coming back. I left the door open for Lynn, and Josh, Gath right there, he saved the day for us, gave us enough energy coming back to get this W. So really, really happy about that. And yeah, can't thank him enough for that.
Well, we see people do different strategies in those races. Some guys like to sit back until the end. Some guys like to lead the whole way. Where do you kind of find yourself on that side of it? And how do you think we're going to go about it going forward with the amount of cautions we saw here tonight?
Yeah, that's we would have liked to see a little bit more green flag, pit stops out there, but unfortunately with two cars, extra cars in the pits for 80 laps, people can kind of send it a little bit, and you kind of get what you get. But it's just kind of an anomaly. They usually get some green flag pit stops in, and we get some good races. So I'm sure by next week, I think we go to Talladega, and we'll probably be 3-4 wide and green flag pit stops most of the night.
All right. Sounds like a good plan. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, everybody that raced with us tonight. Let's see, Mark was in there, Jimmy, Sanchez, everybody, man. It was a great time. Everybody at home for watching, and you guys for giving it to the fans.
Well, thanks for talking to us, and congrats on the win, of course, and we will see you next week.
Appreciate it.
Rick Sebreens, your winner here tonight at Daytona. That all but wraps us up. Again, I will not be here next Sunday. In fact, no broadcast from me this week as I get ready to start the first fall semester again for college here for junior year. But nonetheless, I hope everybody did enjoy tonight. I will be back. First broadcast will be not this Monday, but next Monday over at the Fast Track Sim Racing Cup Series at Daytona International Speedway under the bright lights. Make sure you don't miss out. Till then, I hope everybody